Good Saturday morning to you all. Hopefully you guys are doing great. We got a lot of big things happening this Memorial Day weekend. All the stuff getting brushed under the rug that you need to be aware of. We'll get you up to speed here and get you out so you can go enjoy your barbecues and your parades and all the important things that need to happen on Memorial Day. All right, we got your Watchmen update here. Japanese inflation rate rocketing higher. We're going to talk about rice costs doubling and the effect it has there in Japan. Drought in Texas we need to talk about. And a major prisoner of war exchange. It's the civilian hostages that really get me. The idea that this prisoner of war exchange has so many civilians. We need to talk about that. This is over in Eastern Europe. U.S. banks are sitting on $500 billion in losses that they refuse to acknowledge, and how it will affect you sooner or later. Harvard, of course, suing the Trump administration because that's what Harvard does. And something odd happened. Yeah, something odd. Ground beef reports from Watchmen community, and grand theft government gets punished with 10 years of hard labor. That is a happy story, at least that justice is finally coming for somebody, at least. We got that and more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to share, make sure you use that word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds and into something safer. If you're tired of it going up and down like crazy, your retirement account, you want it to be something stable, like physical metals, like gold, silver, or platinum. There'll be a link at the end of the video, but also I'll put down the pinned comment down below. You can have their phone number down there and their website. Some of you guys like to reach out to them directly. Do make sure you mention this channel, because they do waive your setup fee if you mention the Poplar Report. So definitely mention that if you go to the website and look up information, or if you reach out to them on the phone. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's start off with Harvard. Harvard has sued the Trump administration for blocking enrollment of international students. It's a prestigious program that they use for influence peddling, and the government has used it for influence peddling. So heads of state in other countries, influential politicians in other countries, they want their kids to go to the best school in the world. And so for many of them, they think that's going to be Harvard. So they wheel and deal to get their kids into Harvard, and Harvard gets to trade all these IOUs and cash and all sorts of stuff like that. They're sitting on billions and billions of dollars sitting in their endowment fund that they're investing and just making money off of. Harvard isn't so much a school as it is a massive wealth fund. Anyway, Trump administration blocked their privilege of enrolling international students, and they sued to get it back, keep their students with them. And a judge ruled, of course, for Harvard, allowing them to continue to enroll students from abroad. But it's interesting, the judge that they got to do this. This judge has already ruled against Trump twice on behalf of Harvard. How is it that every time Harvard sues the Trump administration, ends up in front of the same exact judge? Harvard Law School. Is the alumni network of Harvard steering things in the background? It kind of seems that way. You know, all those rumors about the skull and whatever, crossbones, and all these secret societies, and the Harvard network of globalists that secretly steer the US government. And yet it just seems like every time Harvard sues the Trump administration, it lands in front of the same judge, even though this is supposed to be a randomized assignment of cases. How does that work out? It's amazing. It's amazing. When you see coincidences happening repeatedly, friends, it's not a coincidence anymore. It is a conspiracy. That's what it is. All right, Japan. They are the canary in the coal mine, okay? And they're not looking so good. They're kind of laying at the bottom of their cage, twitching, and That is not looking good. The canary is not doing good. Japan's core inflation has topped forecasts again. Their inflation rate's going up dramatically, and their rice prices have almost doubled. And those prices are going to be trickling down to the United States too. Now they like a specific type of rice, the sticky rice, fancy rice. Anyway, it's not like the great value rice that you get in America, okay? But Japanese rice price is doubling, and it's really starting to put a twist on the average consumer in Japan. And in addition to that, the businesses in Japan are struggling, as the stock market is, and the government bonds market is breaking in Japan. It just looks like Japan is about ready to plunge into the abyss. Stock market crash, just collapse of their financial system. Over 50% of their stock market is owned by their equivalent of the Federal Reserve. Their central bank owns over 50% of the stock market. That's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. Okay, Russia and Ukraine are set to swap 1,000 prisoners of war. It's a shocking number, but what's really shocking to me about it is how many civilians are on both sides. First, I saw that the Russians were complaining about how a bunch of the people that they were getting back weren't soldiers, but rather were civilians that were abducted like hostages from Kursk. And some of the others were Ukrainians who had been arrested for sabotaging the Ukrainian forces. They're Russian-speaking Ukrainians sabotaging. Yeah, I know. If you watch the news and everything like that, you'd never know that there were Ukrainians that are actually fighting for the side of Russia. But these territories are trying to essentially fight for their independence or fight to be aligned with Russia. It's sort of like what the United States did in Mexico back during the Texas War, right, for independence. Kind of similar. I know we're not supposed to equate ourselves to those terrible people over there, but we basically did the same thing. Trump has recommended a 50% tariff on the European Union starting June 1st. We talked about that yesterday afternoon. But he has added to this when asked that the United States is not looking for a deal. Tariffs will bring the factories back to the United States, is what Trump is saying. He's like saying that these tariffs aren't there to move Europe to the negotiation table. These tariffs are there to move the factories back to the United States. Not to mention we'll raise a whole bunch of revenue as well. All those wealthy people who are bringing in their caviar are going to have to pay up, right? And also Apple apparently is going to get hit with a 25% tariff, according to Trump. That doesn't sound super specific at this point, and not sure what the mechanism would be to tariff a specific company. I don't know if that's possible. We'll see, I guess. But President Trump is warning Apple to reshore their manufacturing of Apple products to the United States or else. Don't know how I feel about any president threatening a specific company, but that's happening. That's happening. It's a brave new world, friends. It's a brave new world. U.S. banks are facing $482 billion worth of unrealized losses. So if you buy stocks or bonds and then they go up in value or go down in value, when they go down in value, you have unrealized losses. So these banks have bought lots of treasury bills, particularly treasuries, because they've lost a lot of value, but also some stocks. And they haven't, if they were to sell them today, they would have to put on their books that they've lost $482 billion. Let's just round that off to $500 billion. Now, if they realize those losses, they would have to deleverage their accounts, which would force them to sell a lot. Sometimes we're looking at 20-to-1 leverage. Some cases up to 30 to 1 leverage. So if they have to sell 20 times $500 billion worth of assets, you can see how that might start a stock market crash. Yeah. And people are like, oh, it's stable, it's wonderful out there. Well, not so much. All right, here's a story of somebody getting theirs. Maybe we need to have this happen in the West a little more. The Democratic Republic of Congo, their former prime minister has been arrested and convicted of borrowing $245 million, which over there is even more money than, it would seem here. Borrowed $245 million from a government program which was designed to feed the people of the Congo, a food park that they were going to build. He has been sentenced to 10 years of hard labor. Between the election day and the inauguration day for President Trump, about $79 billion was stolen. They created grants out of thin air and then just sent the money without any check on the accounts that they were being sent to. And so it's been estimated that it's about $79 billion that disappeared into thin air between the election night and President Trump being inaugurated. A lot of people are pointing to this as just massive theft on a scale that we haven't seen before, that this money was just stolen from the government outright. They're still trying to track down what happened to that money and where it went to and who took it. But we can read between the lines and kind of guess where it went to, right? Robert says, Centerville, Maryland, no pepperoni sticks have, the pepperoni sticks have been non-existent for almost 4 months now. However, they have had plenty of pepperoni slices, but they're 1/3 more expensive than the sticks with 4 ounce. Less meat than in the sticks though. Melissa says, I went shopping a few days ago in Greenville, Michigan. Aldi barely had anything on their shelves, just empty boxes. I had to return 4 half-gallons of organic milk as they were all chunky. I needed a couple items at Walmart, so I went there, and the produce section looked rotten. Everything was so picked over and bare. I only go grocery shopping once every month, and everything now looks so depleted. It's shocking. Also in Fremont, Michigan, the post office had a bunch of cases of abandoned cases of chicks that they were trying to find homes for. Our local family farm and home said that they were getting lots of cases of dead chicks. Things are weird. Excuse me. Corax says ground beef prices are insane. A pound of normal 90-10 lean beef was $9 a pound, but the grass-fed food stuff was $7 and change per pound. $9 a pound for normal, and grass-fed was cheaper. Interesting. Sweet and Spicy One says, what's going on with our air transportation system since inauguration? Multiple crashes, deaths, shutdowns, like the Newark airport, and then of course Colorado, and the air traffic controller issues. It's strange, but did we not have these major issues last year? I only flew maybe 12 times, but I do not remember this. It's getting scary to fly. Yesterday, Austin Airport was without air traffic controllers. They shut down for a while. We desperately need air traffic controllers. A lot of them, it's kind of like when you get those situations where the workplace becomes really stressful and they're demanding overtime all the time, more people quit. I mean, why would you stick around if it's not a pleasant work experience anymore, right? I'm still recovering from my cough and everything. Jack says, I can no longer order small items from eBay or Amazon because the postal service here in Missouri is too incompetent to deliver in a timely fashion. Ordered a 1 ounce tiny part from 120 miles away in state. It toured the country for a month, got 50 miles away, and then it took on tour going out again. Takes a week to get something from China or California, but months to get from just 100 miles away. Cora says, I was in Walmart yesterday in Canandaigua, New York. I probably butchered that, sorry. My friend who works there was having to remove the manufacturer's price tag on all the shoes currently on the shelf because the prices are going up. Running Man says, wife bought beef sticks at Aldi's in New York. The date was good, but they were all moldy. Lee says, terrible drought here in South Texas. Terribly sorry. We are told we are in stage 3 and it should be a stage 4. We can only wash our car with a 5-gallon bucket of water. Only water needed plants on trash day, etc. Now being told not to worry, but there is a fly called screwworm that's coming in from Mexico, right? That's headed this way that can harm humans as well as livestock and pets. There's an increasing alarm that the fly could reach South Texas as soon as June, disrupting a $15 billion cattle industry here. This fly goes after open wounds. So that's why we have the ban on cattle coming from Mexico right now. Mountain Girl says, here in East Tennessee, a couple of days in a row, I've had a weird thing happen with my phone, showing a screen that looks like a negative, and then the phone just turns off while it's fully charged. You might want to get your phone checked out. But with the screwworm, that's going to definitely impact cattle prices, and it's going to make it so that they can't move cattle around. Might not be able to ship the cattle to the slaughterhouses either. Lord Crom says, yes, I watched the price slowly but steadily increase on organic coconut oil. It's now up to $15.95 for an 84 fluid ounce container at Costco. I believe it was $9.95 just a few years ago. Christina says, Western North Carolina. I walked through grocery stores yesterday and was astonished at the price of things. The cheapest eggs were $5 a dozen. Half loaf of bread was $2. A pound of ground beef was $87.13 was $6.97 a pound. Needless to say, I left empty-handed. And Fingers Lake Prepper Girl says, be aware, if you have loved ones who have passed away, the DMV apparently doesn't get notified of death. My mother died in 2018 and her driver's license must have expired this year on her birthday. Got a renewal form in the mail. She could renew and get her real ID through the mail. They make it very easy for someone to steal and use her identity. Just something to be aware of and not sure what to do about it yet. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, I'm sorry, all this talking. We got that in the pinned comment. And if you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.